tonight. Those of you who have questions to submit, please just hold them in the air and we'll get to you as quickly as we can. Leroy Branch, my assistant district manager, is circulating in the room and we'll be collecting them and feeding them up to us. So, with that in mind, let's just jump right in. We're going to ask the questions, and then between ESDC and Forest City Ratner, they'll determine the best people to answer them. First question is, what happens to the land if the project doesn't get built? Can the developer sell it? And what could a new owner build there? So, there you have it.
What gets developed on the site is subject to the ESDC general project plan. And the general project plan is pretty specific as to what is going to be built. The developer does not have the ability to build anything on the site besides the prescribed arena and the 16 towers. There are requirements for the affordable housing. Any changes to the project would have to go directly through ESDC, and if there were substantive changes, they would undoubtedly require a new hearing and perhaps a new process.
Okay. And what guarantees are there? I'm sorry.
Just a follow-up.
Follow-up question?
Yeah, if you could also address the point about selling the property.
How's that? Okay. The part of the question involving the sale of the property, could you address that?
Sure. I mean, the project, from ESDC's perspective, is not about Forest City. It's about what's being developed on the site. It's about removal of blight. It's about creating jobs. Forest City can bring in partners. They can assign interest in the project to other developers. But regardless, the general project plan remains what it is, which is an arena and 16 towers.
Okay. Now, I guess you read this as part of your presentation, but it would probably be better if we just heard it coming from you off the cuff. How will the 22-acre site get developed under the modified plan?
So in terms of timing and how we intend to develop the project. So we will start arena construction at the end of this year. And I think everybody knows the location of the arena. We call this the arena block. And we intend to start construction on the arena in 2009. And within 6 to 8 months after the start of that arena, we will begin construction on what we refer to as B2. B2 is 400 units of housing. And we are contemplating a program that has an affordable component to it, and we're currently obligated to provide at least 30% affordability on the arena block. But again, as I said, given the market and where the market is, we think that there is some depth in the market for affordable housing, and it's quite possible that more than that would be built on the arena block. Again, to satisfy the 2000. From there, we build around the site in this direction. B3 is the next building, which is about 350 units of housing. And then there's a building we refer to as B4, which is over 800 units of housing. So again, you have a minimum of 1.5 million square feet of housing being built on that block. And the unit count for that housing is 1,600 plus or minus units. And again, our estimation of the affordability is over 450 units of affordable housing based on that anticipated program.
We have a follow-up question.
And from there, again, the expectation is that at every 6 months a building would be launched, completing the arena block portion of the project by 2014. And then we intend to move across the site. This is B5, B6, B7, moving in that direction. The plan is to commence those buildings, which we refer to as phase 2, again in 6-month increments, and that would involve commencing platform construction, again in 2011, to anticipate receiving those buildings later on as we move east and develop the site. And the full build out of the site is 2019.
Mary Ann, the follow-up was at the time, can everyone hear me? Okay. So, at the time that the arena opens in 2011, 2012, the idea is to have B2 completed for 400 units, of which approximately 130 would be affordable at that time?
That's correct, for that to be open, and then the question is what happens with the rest of the parcels if they're there but not built upon. And I think there's a reasonable expectation that B3 and B4 would not be in construction at that point in time, would be preparing for the construction of B3, and we have an interim open space plan. And again, when the arena is unveiled, which will be in early fall, there will be images of the arena, which we should talk about. I'm sure there'll be questions about it. The arena design will contemplate interim uses around the arena, and it will be open space, accessible by the public, and it will have a variety of uses, community uses, and green and hardscape. Again, to address the fact that this is an interim condition until those future buildings on the arena block site are constructed. And as a general matter, any parcel upon which we are not building a building or using it for staging and logistics, we have committed to create interim open space available to the community so that the property is utilized in the most conducive way to the public if we're not in fact building upon it. And so that's the plan, and the arena design will be unveiled publicly in early fall, September, October. Those images will be made available. And I should point out that the images that were in the public domain were not intended for release. At the time that they were released, they were placeholders for the design. A good building is designed from the inside out, and what we have been working hard on is the inside of the arena, which is a high-quality, first-class NBA arena designed by the architects Ellerby Beckett. And we are working on the exterior design and the details surrounding that design now, and it will look quite different than the images that were put out in the public a month and a half ago.